At some point when I was 20 years old, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I want to die.
Wow.
I want to die, you know? And I even tried. There's two things about me. There's one side of me that like felt like really at the end of my rope here, but
Mhm.
there's also that strength that I always visualized myself at the next level.
Real Talk with Star Scorpio, episode 105. Today I'm joined by Satya, a pop and R&B artist I first came across on Instagram. She's been climbing charts in Canada and the US with her powerful vocals and her latest single, Realness. But what makes her stand out is more than the music. It's a story of resilience, authenticity, and advocacy for mental health. Satya, welcome to Real Talk with Star Scorpio. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, it's a pleasure having you here. And I'm gonna just tell the audience right now, when I saw you first, when I saw your glasses, I was like, yo, that's fire. Yo.
I'm so blind. Thank you. I have to wear them. It's like it's conditioned when I drive. Like if I don't have my glasses on, I can get arrested. I can get pulled over.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, let's get into it. On Real Talk,
yes.
we like to build a timeline, and I usually start from the beginning. But your story is a little different from some of the guests that I usually have on. Growing up, you experienced adoption from a Moroccan orphanage. Can you share that part of your life with me?
Of course, I was adopted at birth by Canadian parents. I was adopted when I was 4 days old from an orphanage in Morocco, and I was very, very blessed to have parents that adopted me. We went back to Morocco. We visited my orphanage because my parents also adopted three other babies.
Oh,
So
okay.
they saved our lives basically. And we went back there and we gave a lot to the orphanage, and it's a plan for me to go back there and do some work in Morocco too. Uh, so yeah, I was very blessed to have a family, and my family always made me feel so I'm part of the family, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
my uncle, my aunts, like it's they always made me feel like I'm I never felt different in my family, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah. So wait, so you said three others though. So
Yes. So I
those are
have
your siblings, right? So
they're my siblings. So
yes.
so they went to adopt me.
Hmm.
They came back, and then they went to go adopt my brother.
Hmm.
And then they came back, and then they went back and they told us we're going to go back to adopt one more. It's going to be a surprise. And I
Yeah.
remember I was 7 years old, and and we were all waiting, the family waiting for my parents to get out of the car. And
Yeah.
they opened the door and they had both a baby in their arms. And
Oh.
this was like the best day of my life. I have two brothers and one sister, and
Mhm.
we're we're so connected in so many ways. Like for me, blood related doesn't change a thing, because like it's the connection is even deeper sometimes.
Mhm.
So I'm really blessed to have them because they keep me in check, and we're all adults now,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
uh it's a blessing to have
yeah.
siblings. Yeah.
Wait, so you're the oldest, of course, then you're saying, right?
I'm the oldest of four. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's the age difference between everybody?
So I have 2 years with my brother,
Mhm.
and then I have 7 years with my younger siblings.
Okay. Do you mind sharing your age right now, or do you?
I am 35 and super proud.
Wow. 35. You look 25 to me.
Thank you. That's what I try to stay as young as possible, but I'm not afraid of sharing my age because age is just a number.
Yeah, I agree. Like I told you,
Like,
I'm turning 52. We were talking before, and we have the same birth month. So you'll be
yes.
oh, so you'll be turning 36.
Yes, I'm going to be
Yeah.
36, but it's crazy because I talk with people and I'm like, gosh, I can't wait to be 40 and I can't wait to be 50 and I can't and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yes, because like you get to another level like when you walk on your journey, like
Yeah.
20 was like a very hard time for me. Like teenage was a hard time. Like then the 30s came in. You
Mhm.
climb and I feel like the more you heal in your life, like the younger you feel, the younger you look. Like it's just. So yeah, I'm not afraid of getting older.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a pride.
Yeah, we it seems like we have a lot in common already because I couldn't wait to turn 50. And it was such a proud moment. I've known people that passed, some of my friends,
Yeah,
like in their 40s, some in their 30s, some in their 20s of rare diseases and things like that.
yeah. Me too.
Cancer, yeah. So
Yeah.
getting at this age, it's like something to
It's a
be
blessing.
joyful about, and it's a blessing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
To grow old.
yeah. Be
So
thankful.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
be thankful every day.
yes. Okay, now, so you have adopted parents, but how was the household? Tell me, were you grown up in a strict environment or were they more relaxed?
I grew up in a suburb of Quebec, and it was a very relaxed environment. My dad, like back in the day, like the dads were working and the moms were raising kids at home. So
Mhm.
my mom was at home, and in my home, I felt really like normal and loved. But it's when I started school and when I started to be like I said, I was in a suburb like back in 1990 where like adoption was not like super popular. So I
Right.
remember like being the only colored like child of my class and also being adopted. So like kids sometimes would tell me like your parents are not your real parents.
Mhm.
You have the color of shit, things like that. And yeah, it was really hard for me because being adopted, like I remember because I was always very intuitive, and when I
Mhm.
was like probably 4 years old, my mom and we were shopping, and I just went to my mom and I'm like, I looked at a pregnant woman and I'm like, I didn't come out of your belly, did I? And she was
Wow.
like, what? And that's when she explained to me that I was adopted. But like, I always felt like when I was young, like they never made me feel this way. But for me, I was insecure because I was like, if I do something wrong, can they return me? Like,
Oh,
like all
wow.
these things started in my head, when I was like young, and then like in school, I was having issues, with like other kids and stuff like that. And growing up, I wasn't fitting. I felt like I wasn't fitting in, like
Mhm.
the primary school, beginning of high school. I always wanted to fit in, and yeah, it was very hard for me, like to find my crowd.
Wow.
And in high school, I became really tough. I was like, no one's gonna hurt me, type of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah. Wait, one thing I want to ask for was was French your first language then? It was
yeah.
French,
I
then
was
English.
born French. Yeah, I was born. I was raised French,
Yes.
but I was always listening to English music
Okay.
and English TV shows. I
Hmm.
was very interested in like Whitney Houston, Mariah
Yeah.
Carey, all the Motown music,
Mhm.
So, and my parents were listening to that, Celine Dion,
Mhm.
English in English. So I always vibed on like the music, and I learned English this way, very
Yeah, a lot of
young.
I remember when I was in it was grade six, and we had this Yugoslavian girl, Maria, come, um, and she didn't know how to speak English. But when you're a child, you pick it up so fast because of the friends, right? And yeah, I still know Maria till this day on Facebook. But yeah, she just transitioned quick fast with the English
Yeah.
language. Yeah.
The more
But
you give to a child, like at a young age, they're sponges. Like they learn everything. Like the more like it, that's the time you give, you give, you give, and they become brilliant.
Yeah. And you know what you touched on there? So that I'm so glad you touched on this. It seems like you had a good home life because sometimes when you're at school and you have all these adversities, you have these kids that probably don't treat you well. It's always good to come home and be grounded with a loving family because there's probably kids that don't have it in school
No.
and not at home either. And that's
Yeah.
probably the worst thing for them. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you had that at home.
That's why I try to support this. Like this is kind of something that I want to touch, like, and I'm also doing the work now to be able to help as much kids as I can to have some sort of community
Hmm.
outside of their home, So that's a project that I have where I want kids to be able to have that love, And I always tell my daughter when I take her to daycare, I'm like, you have parents that love you,
Hmm.
that give you love. So be nice to other kids because
Oh, yeah.
some kids, they don't have a hug. They don't have like a parent that's present,
Yeah.
So be nice, be gentle, but defend yourself. If, you know, you're allowed to defend yourself, you're allowed to say no, but always have a kind heart,
Yeah.
and gratitude. She's only 3 and she's already,
Yeah.
giving hugs to people and
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, Satya, I didn't know you were gonna do this to me this early. Like, I'm getting emotional during my podcast. Oh,
It's okay. Emotions are part
ah,
of
man.
our life,
Yeah.
like I cry all the time, I cry of
Yeah.
joy, I cry of sadness, I let my emotions come out.
Yeah.
That's
Because
the only way I could survive.
yes, and because I don't like caring about kids that have hard times, and also I told you my dog's behind me, like animal cruelty, anything to the
Yeah.
innocents, even the
Yeah.
elderly, like
Older
it really
people.
gets
Yeah.
to me, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Vulnerable people,
vulnerable. Yeah,
the ones that should be protected,
right.
so
Oh,
that's my defense. Like
yeah.
that's my core, defending people that have mental health challenges, addiction, children, mothers, single moms, like all the people that have hard times.
Yeah.
I want to be able to defend them, help them out, and
Mm,
do my part, in the
yeah.
world.
I you're
And I
my
love
kind.
old
Yes.
people because they have so much knowledge if you just listen to them. Like my grandfather was my best friend in the world,
Hmm.
and he waited for my daughter to be born. It's going to be 3 years that he's passed this
Oh,
month, and he took his last breath
hmm.
with my daughter in his arms, and he gave her, like he lives through her. Like she does things to me, like tapping me on the back, like he used to tap me on the back, and it's
Yeah.
just like he's there, and I know he's always present, and he's my force, he's my guide.
Hmm.
He was a very kind man, and yeah,
Yeah. I
that
like
was
that.
yeah. It's very yeah. I'm
Yeah,
getting
you
emotional
feel
too.
it. Oh, my podcast, like I told my last guest,
Oh my God.
this happens on my podcast a lot. It's so, but I like it. I like what we're sharing because other
But you
people,
give, that you open up the channel to let your 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 guests be able to be vulnerable. You
yeah,
have this humanity about you,
hmm,
so you allow that
yeah.
to happen,
This, this is gonna be a rough one. Oh, this is amazing. One thing I did, okay, you touched on your daughter and your grandfather. You said she was 3 when he passed.
No, no,
Was it? He waited
he waited for
3
my
years ago.
daughter to be born, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And when she was 2 months,
Okay.
he passed with
Yeah.
her, with holding her
Holding
in
her.
his
Okay.
arms.
Yeah.
He was
Cause yeah.
94. He was
Oh,
94.
oh, that's amazing. I
Yeah.
I guess yeah, because I misunderstood the age for a minute. But
So my
I
daughter's following his, like she lived
mhm,
while he was passing, so that like she turned 3
mhm.
and he's gonna be 3 years
3 years
past, but
passed.
they're like connected together. I
Mm.
know that for sure.
So let me change my question.
Yes,
So I was gonna say, does she have a memory of him? But now I know she was only the 2 months. But do you have a picture with her and him before his passing that
I
she
have the
can reflect
picture.
on?
Yeah, I have the picture of him and her
Yes.
in holding each other, and it was so beautiful because he was seeing like it's almost like he was seeing at things, and she was only 2 months, and she was looking at the same. I don't know what they were seeing, but it was like so beautiful, and she wasn't like, she wasn't agitated when she was on him. She wasn't she was just very calm. And I
Yeah.
was always with my grandpa, and he was always talking to my belly. Like he was always like,
Oh wow.
"Hello, it's your grandpa, it's your grandfather, blah blah blah."
Mm,
So there was this sense of peace, and my grandpa used to bring me that sense of peace because he was a great he would listen. He
yeah.
would sit down and listen to me. Like he was able to FaceTime at 94. Like I taught him how to
Oh,
FaceTime. He was
wow.
emailing me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was
Yeah.
very, very advanced.
Hmm.
And what was I gonna say? So yeah, and at the funeral, like
Hmm.
my daughter, she was 2 months. I put the stroller next to his casket, and
Hmm.
for the whole celebration, she never cried. Like we like everybody at the church were like what was going on? Like she never cried. They were both like, like the the like next to each other, and
Hmm.
she never cried for the whole time. And it was like beautiful. It was one of the
It's,
most beautiful things
it,
I've
it
ever
seems
seen.
it seems like it was spiritual at the time. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah, he was a
oh
he was a
man.
very spiritual man. And he's bringing me signs all the time, when I'm like, am I in the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Like I'm gonna get a sign always,
Mm,
and yeah,
yeah.
it's he's always there.
Mm, amazing. Um, so you touched on music. So I'm gonna ask you something first. Before I get into all your music stuff, I want to continue about school, but since you touched on music, I want to know, you named some names, but what genre of music did you like the most back in the day, your early childhood?
Early childhood, I really listened to what my parents were listening to, Motown music, all these great voices of the time, you know, Etta James, Nat King
Oh,
Cole,
wow.
Natalie Cole. Like, I it was very versatile in my house, where like my parents would have this amazing taste in music.
Hmm.
And then when I grew up a little bit more, like I was really into like the girls band, the boys band,
Yeah.
like the NSYNC, the Backstreet Boys, the Spice Girls. I really liked Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
And growing up more, Lauryn Hill, Alicia Keys, Destiny's
Mm.
Child.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
So all of the independent ladies of the time, EVE. I was really like digging the the empowered, like the woman that was like they were saying empowerment,
Hmm.
like Missy Ellie, so I was,
Yes.
yeah. And I
Lauren
would
Hill,
dress
all
like a
them.
rapper,
Oh,
and yeah, 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 yeah. I had like my NIT suit, and I had like my, like I was listening to Ja Rule and all these. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I guess that's what I was getting at. So there you go. Like when I grew up, it was my dad's from Guyana, my mom's from Barbados. So I grew up
Wow.
listening to Calypso and the Motown and all that stuff in the back in the day. But then when I got older, I'm listening to dancehall, hip hop. But before we got into that, it was like the pop. It was Michael Jackson, Madonna, and everything.
Yeah.
Those were the best times. But here's my
Yes.
question now. So, what I like to know from artists, especially singers, when I interviewed a singer named Tari Torre, I said, "Where did you find your voice?" And she said she was in the shower. And she told me a funny story. But some people that I interview, say in church and things like that. Where did you find your voice? When did you know you could sing?
I guess I always could sing because ever since I was young, as soon as I started talking, I was singing and doing shows at my house, and I would stand on the fireplace and okay, everybody listen, and I would sing songs and I will always love you, and I would just like, I knew I could sing from the I loved music, and my daughter's the same, like she's singing
Oh,
Let It
wow.
Go and all these songs, and I make like I make her listen to like all sorts of music so
Yeah.
she can hear like all types of voices, all types of instruments. Like this morning, like we were listening to go to daycare, we are listening to Justin Timberlake, the
Okay.
yeah, his older albums, with Timberland, and she was
Yeah.
like digging like the beatboxing, and I want her to hear a lot of like
The
sounds because she
sounds, right?
can,
Hmm.
yeah, because she can like isolate sound. She's like, "Oh, mom, they're doing like boop, 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 boop," and I'm like, "Whoa!" Like she can hear so well. So yeah,
Wow.
for me too. Like when I was young, I could like people. My mom would like pick up my aunt or my grandmother, and I would be like, singing a song and they would be like, what? Like,
Yeah.
I just loved music. I
Yeah.
just loved music. And I don't know if like in the wound of my birth mom and or in like where I was in Morocco, there was a lot of like music and maybe she was singing. Like we don't know, but I just
Yeah.
know that I came I came very young with singing.
Yeah. You were blessed with the voice. So you touched on that too. So your relatives knew that you could sing. It was one of those things where, oh, she's the singer of the family.
Yeah,
Was there anyone else though that could sing in your family?
no one else.
Wow.
And if you ask my siblings, like they are so happy they have their own homes now because like they couldn't take it anymore. Like the all by myself from Celine Dion, like at 7 a.m., like
Yeah. Yeah.
every day. They're like, Satya, we could never live with you again.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Okay. So I got that. Now I know you are always that singing type. So let's go back to school for a minute. How was your high school days? Were you more inclined to the sports or you like the subjects, math, English? What were you drawn to back in the days?
Back in the day in high school, like a lot of things happened to me where I wasn't connecting with school.
Okay.
My parents got divorced when I was 13, and then like a bunch of tragic stuff, I'm gonna say, happened in my teenage. So I turned very young into drugs and alcohol.
Hmm.
So I turned very young into addiction, and high school was like not something that I was really into. I
Okay.
was going to school. Then I I met, this like sense the sense of wanting to fit in at like any price.
Hmm.
Like I've done this, like seeking the love. Like my parents, when they got divorced, I remember being like very lost, and
Hmm.
they didn't like my dad didn't move very far, my mom, but it was just like a very, you know it was very difficult for me because I think that the biggest like abandonment is something that's really like in my core, and my dad didn't abandon me, but like your inner child feels things, so
Right.
I started using alcohol and drugs at a very young age.
Hmm.
And I finished high school. I was hanging out with like good people, bad people. I was not the nicest person too in high school because I was sick and I was suffering a lot.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so high school was probably the hardest part of my life.
Yeah. Sorry you went through that. So
But that
that,
built
of
me to be
course,
who I am, you
right,
know.
right. This is why when I ask the question that I'm going to ask, it's going to be interesting to what you say when I get to the would you rather question. But This question that I asked my guest now, I want to see how you answer it now because it might I want to see what you say. So I asked my guest, do you have any teachers now in high school that you remember because they were like a guiding light to you and they were inspirational or tried to help you? Or on the negative side, a teacher that um, didn't say nice things to you and you wanted to prove them wrong when you're older. But in your case, I just want to just ask, I guess, did you have any teachers or guidance counselors that knew what was going on in your life that helped you out?
I guess I have both. I have teachers that were like, oh, like she's gonna be how do I say that? She's not gonna make it or whatever. And then I had like teachers that believed in me and helped me, because like the 2 last years of my high school, like I really had teachers that saw the good in me and saw that the suffering in me, and they were helping me out because I
Mm,
was very smart.
hmm.
It's just that I wanted to do the opposite of like being good, because I was so angry inside, so I
Yeah.
would I would want to prove that I had put this big like front in front of me to protect myself, because inside I felt so broken and
Right.
sad that I was like kind of like,
You
you're
were
not gonna
you were
get through
rebelling too,
me.
right? You were
Yeah, I
rebelling,
was
right?
very rebellious, and
Yeah.
and some people could catch this, so that's why like right like today I love all kids, but
Mhm.
the rebellious ones, like there's like I know there's something in there, and there's so much potential, and
Yeah.
that's I see the light, and I try to give that light to all of the kids that I encounter, or the the events, the charities, whatever, because everybody has a story, and we
Yeah.
can never judge.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? When I look, if I think back to some of the kids that were, I understand it now. I'm an adult and I understand it now. Some of the kids that were mean to their friends or always saying bad things or just lashing out or now I understand something was going on. And that was
Yeah,
the only outlet that they can, you know,
yeah, because
do.
you don't know how to manage your emotions, and
Right.
unless you do therapy,
Yes.
like we don't know. Like for me, when I was like 15, 14, like I couldn't be like, oh, well, like I'm triggered by this and that, and I didn't have the words. Like I only learned going through therapy, but
Mhm.
even an adult that doesn't have that chance to go to therapy and to understand where it's coming from, you
Mhm.
know, y- they still act the same way,
Yeah.
because they're broken children. And
Yeah.
that's where I want to come in, and that's where I want to help, because everybody has the potential to feel free, from all these burdens.
Yeah. When did you have your breakthrough then?
So when I was 20 years old, my life wasn't going anywhere. Like my friends were going to like CJEP, we call it here, after high school,
Yeah.
university and stuff like that. I was working in a restaurant. I was drinking, and my life wasn't going anywhere. I was very lost, and I'm blessed because my parents, like, they never like kicked me out of the house, and I was like very aggravated and sad and not so nice, but they never gave up on me, you know, in a way where like I they made me stay at home. Like they knew I was safe there, and
Mhm.
I would always come back. And at some point when I was 20 years old, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I want to die.
Wow.
I want to die, you know? And I even tried, you know. Yeah, yeah, I was very, very like the alcohol and the drugs had brought me to my knees, and I didn't know a way of 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 like coming out of this, because I didn't know what to do, and my parents didn't know how deep it was, because they thought I was like partying,
Mhm.
and just, figuring it out. Like I didn't look like I was you know,
Mhm.
on the verge of dying, and they didn't know the extent of like my addiction. Um, and I remember there's two things about me. There's one side of me that like felt like really at the end of my rope here, but
Mhm.
there's also that strength that oh I always visualized myself at the next level.
Mhm.
Always, always, always. So even in this like dark period of my life, like my teenage and everything, with everything I've been through, I would visualize myself like having an apartment, being sober at some point,
Mhm.
And when I was 20 years old, I was like, I can't do this. And my parents, they were like, oh my God, like, yay. Like it was like the greatest day of their life,
Wow.
because like you can't the thing with addiction is that even if you love the person, even if you tell them what they should do, like you can't do it for them. They have to want it for
Yeah.
themselves. And
Yeah.
it's really hard because I lost a lot of friends that didn't grasp on the program, didn't grasp on sobriety.
Mhm.
And so when I said, okay, I'm ready, um, I did the whole thing. I went to rehab. I went to help myself, and by the age of 20, by the age of I did a year. By the age of 21, I had a year of sobriety already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yo,
January 14th is my anniversary.
applaud you on your journey. Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I did have a question on that, so I'm glad we touched on it early, and I'm glad you were willing to share. But yeah, I guess my question, if you want to add on to it, is how did the addiction and recovery help you in your journey as a music artist?
Well, the addiction recovery made me, the greatest thing that happened to me is that as soon as I started to um, be in a community with young people my age that had the same issue, problem, whatever you want to call it,
Mm,
as me, I felt like, okay, I can relate to someone,
okay. Hmm.
like being able to relate to somebody that's my age that has addiction, like that went through addiction, that's sober, and I started to see girls my age with like years of sobriety and getting their life back together and getting like a car, getting like a job, getting this. And I was like, I want this, I
Yeah.
want this for myself. And I started to surround myself with these girls,
Okay.
and and not being shy to like put yourself out there, be vulnerable. Like it's almost like my sponsor always told me like you have to go to them and give your like ask them if they want to like hang out or take you like somewhere. So I would give my number. Hi, I'm Satya. I would like to hang out with you. It's almost like you start over again, like
Yeah.
a kid, and you have that program that helps you to understand yourself, to understand what you've been through, heal it, and
Hmm.
then you help each other. So you feel responsible, like you have a responsibility
Hmm.
to carry that message to other people that are sick and suffering. So it gives you a sense of value, in
Yeah.
the world, which is what I wanted. Like I wanted to have a purpose. And that purpose, I found it when I was healing. And now I know my purpose. It's really clear.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Yeah, you're gonna inspire a lot of people. This is amazing. Okay, so 21, I got the age now. But I actually wrote down a one of your posts, and it seems like everything you're saying relates to this one line that you put. You said the best way to predict your future is to create it. And I think that's what you did too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
being afraid to, first of all, like I always say when I speak to meetings or I give like a conference or whatever, I help because I also help a lot of people that want to get sober, like
Hmm.
by sponsorship and everything. We are not labeled to what we have done in the past if we are willing to work on getting better,
Hmm.
you know? And I truly believe that there's a place in the world where we need to help people with their mental health and to help the human beings
Mhm.
to get better so they can be better members in our societies, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I that's what I want to invest in, you know?
Mhm.
I want to invest in human beings and their
Yeah.
well-being because when you're well, you do well.
Right. So so again, I'm glad we're talking about this because one of the things that we're experiencing now, especially since COVID, is mental health. How
Yeah.
important do you think that is for people to take care of their mental health? Because there's
It's
addiction and all these kind of things, but yeah, mental health is a big thing too, right?
yeah, my mental like when the begin in the beginning of COVID, my mental health took a toll because when they said like, okay, we're shutting down everything, I was like, okay, but what about people that go to these organizations
Hmm.
and get food,
Hmm.
get clothes, get, you know, depend on that to live? What about the kids? You know, I was having panic attacks. I
Wow.
remember, you know,
Hmm.
and so my aunts, they have two restaurants, and they had to close down. So I said, you know what? Like, I'm going to find financial partners. We're going to make food and we're going to have these people come in a drive-through, like around the restaurant to get the food. And we managed to do 3,300 meals
Wow.
in that time
Hmm.
for people. And the single moms, like the people that the older the elderly
Elderly.
people, the people that are in like mental health, like like a house for mental health and everything like that, you know. So I found organizations that needed our help, and we did that for like 4 months, you know.
Yeah.
That was like my job because I could sleep at night because I knew that I was not just doing nothing, you know, like
Yeah.
being powerless when I have so much power to like, that was like the worst for me, the
Yeah.
worst,
Yeah.
you know?
I like that you said that though, that the whole restaurant idea, because I feel that some people don't have it in them. And I used to be like that. Sometimes I still fall back into that. But when you're faced with a problem, you can either just live in it and just let it play in your head and feel sorry for yourself, or you can say, you know what, I'm gonna take this head on and see what I can do. Because there's always an answer for everything
Yeah.
I've learned in my years. You can resonate with that too, right?
Yeah. And my
Yeah.
therapist always used to tell me, like, when we feel so like in our heads and like filled with our problems and this and that, there's one thing that we should do:
Mhm.
gratitude list, and
Yes.
get out of self every day. Getting out of self and helping another person
Hmm.
gets you away from only being in our head
Hmm.
and living in our heart where we should be living like all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So when I feel at my worst, sometimes I'm like, okay, things are not working. Like, even if I push, I try, whatever, I go outside and I always find one person. You know, generosity is not just about money.
Hmm.
It comes from the heart.
Hmm.
Opening the door to somebody, looking at someone straight in the eye, saying hi. Do you need anything? Like, I'm not afraid to say, do you need anything? If I see someone in need, like, can I buy you a sandwich? You know,
Yeah.
the worst they can say is no, you
Hmm.
know? So, and
Wow.
right now we're in a crisis.
Yeah.
We're in a crisis where people are losing it, you
Hmm.
know? So being there, seeing things, and I'm very sensitive to that.
Yeah.
So I try to do my best.
Yeah.
And you know, my fiance, he's a firefighter,
Hmm.
first responder here in Montreal. And for him too, like he sees a lot of sad things going
Oh,
on. And
yeah.
as a work as human beings, like we need to live in community. We need to share bread. Like Tupac was talking about this like 20 years ago, and we're,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like at some point, this is what needs to happen, you
Mhm.
know, creating that safe space, how do you call it? A filet. I don't know how to say it in English. That where people can fall on, like creating that uh, I don't know how to
I'm
say
trying
it.
to get the word for you too, but I know
Hold out
like
like that
a safety
secure.
blanket, like a secure.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And they
Okay.
know where to go.
Yes.
Same
Yeah.
thing
Okay.
for like same thing for like moms or whatever, like new moms, like they give birth and good luck, but like things that can happen from
Mhm.
like 0 to 3 year old, like
Yeah.
hormonally, like mentally, like no one is everybody has a mental health,
Hmm. Hmm.
and mental health is like physical health, it's like it goes together,
Right.
and talking about things that can happen, like talking about, like, I'm lucky because I'm not afraid to speak,
Yeah.
and I have close friends also that we talk about the real stuff, we
Yeah.
talk about the real stuff of being moms, like having these thoughts, having these feelings, the hormones, the this, the that, like, but some people are alone, so
Yeah.
why not providing this through my social media,
Hmm.
like, you know
Yeah.
so they can see that they're not alone, because sometimes they look at Instagram and everything looks so beautiful, and uh, so it makes people even more depressed.
Yes. Yeah. You know what? There's so much I want to say. We relate. Like I relate to so many things that you're saying right now. I think I'm going to get this out first before I talk about social media. Um, there's a saying that there used to be on TV: "The more you know, the more you grow." And I think it was Bill Cosby or someone that I heard say, "The more you know, the more you owe." And then
Yes.
Tupac said, "Each one teach one." There's a lot of things that I hear, and being at this age now, it's like I'm giving back. Like I told you, I do the donations on the podcast. But one thing I do, which I don't think a lot of people do, we have a homeless epidemic right now, right? So when I
Yes.
walk outside my house and I go to my strip mall down here, Agent Court, there's homeless people all around, and I give away money a lot, right? And I'm not one of those people that say, "Oh, what are they going to spend it on?" It's not about that for me. But one thing I do different, and I don't know if a lot of people do this, I ask the person their name.
Yeah.
And the look that I got from a couple of people, it's like they don't get that. They get people maybe just walking by them, throwing change. I actually hand a $5 bill, a $10 bill, whatever I have. And I say, "What's your name, by the way?" And they
Yeah.
tell me their name, and they it's kind of touching to talk about it, but they don't get those conversations, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
The worst, my grandpa always told me, first of all, we never judge homelessness because we never know how they got there.
Yeah.
And second of all, the worst thing for a homeless person is to not feel seen, you know? So
Mm.
I see them. I try to help them as much as I can. I have, I always bring like granola bars, water bottles, because there's a lot in Montreal too.
Yeah.
It's so, to feel seen, to be like, hey, what's up? How are you?
Yeah.
Here's a granola bar. Like, take it or not, like sometimes people judge you, like, oh, why you give them money, they're going to buy drugs. Well, what would you do in their situation, you
Mm.
know like, of course, like, that's not prefer for, like, you wouldn't
Yeah.
prefer, like, but you're not in this situation, so we can't judge,
Hmm.
you know and there's so many in Montreal, there's so many everywhere right now, like in the United States, like in every countries of the world, like it's really bad.
Yeah.
And for me to do my part every day makes me feel like I'm part of this movement,
Hmm.
that this my spirituality, that the world would want, like, doing good
Yeah.
brings me good, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes. Amazing. Satya. Amazing. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna ask this would you rather question now, but
Yes.
I just want to see what you would say first before I get to this. Um,
Okay.
Social media is to me it's a blessing and a curse. And how do you think you would have fared if social media was prevalent way back then? Because I'm 51, so I remember when we didn't have it at all. And then
Yeah,
Facebook came about, but you're 35. I'm sure I'm sure Instagram was there, or I don't know. But tell me, how do you think you would have fared if you were like 10, 11, and then this social media thing was around?
very bad. Very bad because I think that social media, like, first of all, I think that there should be an age for kids to be
Yeah,
on social media. That's only my opinion.
I
Like,
agree.
I'm not the science or whatever. Like, I'm not a dictator, but that's only my fair opinion. I think that there should be an age, and that um I'm in an era where I don't believe everything I see,
Hmm.
but they're in an era where they believe everything they see,
Yeah,
because that they were brought up in this era,
right.
and it's there should be like explanations, and like I for example, like my daughter, she's 3, she doesn't know that a phone can do certain things. Like, she
Hmm.
she thinks that a phone is to call, and when we go to restaurants, like, we play, we do crayons. Like, it's so important for me to keep her away from
Right.
this, like, as much as I can, but I understand parents that need to have a break,
Hmm.
but yeah, I think that I would have done really bad. And I have stories of young kids that do really bad with social media, and it
Yeah.
it also affects the social, like, the real time social life,
Hmm.
like, I have a friend of mine, close neighbor of mine, like, he's having a hard time connecting in real time with people, because he's so used to talking to people through Instagram, so
Yeah.
when they get to, like, when he goes on a date or whatever, he's like, they don't know what to say. And I find it so sad, because it gives them a persona. It gives them like they can be who they want to be,
Hmm.
but at the same time, living in the present,
Hmm.
living your life in the life present is so important.
It is. Yeah. And
So yeah, I don't,
the connections, right? The communication
being
skills
connected, being
connected.
connected to people, like,
Yeah.
to people in real time, is really important,
Yeah.
because like, even if you want to share a picture of you, like, doing whatever so well or whatever, like,
Yeah.
we never know. And that's what I think is the most important thing to know, is uh to not um think that the appearance is the reality,
Hmm.
because we don't know.
Yeah. You're so right. You're so right. It's sometimes I would say it's a facade, right? Like you look at Instagram on someone's fitness page or a beauty page, and it's like the perfection of a picture, but they don't know there's filters. They don't know even what the person is going through behind everything, right? The picture tells a different story, right? From what's really going on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And also, people like that are at home, like, I feel like one of the most isolating time for new moms is to be at home with their babies and looking at
Oh,
everything, like, all the fitness and the this and the that and the but it took so many angles to do one picture, like,
yeah.
you never know. So instead of, like, putting, like, always, like, the best
Perfection.
thing,
Yeah.
perfection, like, I
Yeah.
try to post what's real,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
how I
like that.
feel.
I like that. All right. Okay. This is an amazing conversation so far. Oh my gosh. Okay. The would you rather question now. You ready for this, Satya?
I'm ready.
Would you rather visit your younger self and give them advice for the future? Or would you rather visit your older self and have them give you advice for what's going on right now?
That's a good question. I think I would rather visit my older self
Mm,
to give me advice for what's going on right now. Because when you're young and you get advice from people and you're not in a good, like you're not in the right
like,
path, or
yeah, yeah.
you're not ready, like you're not
Hmm.
going to get these advices. But
Hmm.
if I could go see my younger self, I would just tell her that it's okay and you're safe, and I love you.
Oh,
That's what I would tell her. I would give her so much love.
yeah, yeah. Oh man,
Yeah.
why you doing this to me, girl? Why you doing this to me? Okay, okay.
Real
Now,
talk.
yeah, you just made the teaser. Okay, now, whether my guest chose their younger or older self, this is about your younger self. What would you tell your younger self about money?
What would I tell my younger self about money? I would tell my younger self that money is not something that should determine who you are.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
What would you tell your younger self about friends?
Friends come and go. Find the ones that will stick with you through thick and thin.
What would you tell your younger self about family?
Family is everything. Family is everything. But also family, if there's issues in the family and you're not feeling comfortable, like you can distance yourself from, you
Mhm,
know. Family's everything because they know you to the core, but family's not perfect, you
mhm.
know?
Yeah.
And it's okay too to detach yourself from people if you feel like you need to move on or get further, because family will always get back at some point.
Mhm. Lastly, what would you tell your younger self about love?
Love yourself before you learn to love someone else. Learn to love yourself and know yourself and what you want.
Bam. That was good. Oh, I the reason I love to ask those
These are
questions,
beautiful questions.
yeah, I love to hear what people say, and most people always come back to the same core of everything that I ask, and love yourself is
Well,
an
the
important one.
song Neo, Girl, Let Me Love You,
Yes,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
Will Love You. Yeah.
yeah,
So I was singing this to could love myself before I was able to love somebody else or to find the person that will love me for real.
yeah, yeah. Nice. Okay, wait, before we go on, your voice just changed there. Did something happen?
My pod just died, so now
Oh,
I'm
okay.
on my iPad. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Okay. Satya, let's get into the music now, right?
Okay.
Um, the first question I want to ask you is how did you get your footing in the music industry in Canada? And what were some of the obstacles that you faced?
I got my foot in the music industry when I was 23. I always wanted to do this, like my
Okay.
whole life.
Okay.
But my family was very protective of who I would work, what I would do, and blah blah blah. And
Hmm.
it's so I started when I was 23, and I worked with producers. Um, that you know how it is in the music industry. Like, I mean, I was young, I was working with producers, and I had a few producers that stopped working with me because I wouldn't how do I say that, like, they were switching the vibe, and they would make it they would make it oh, would you like to come and hang out in my
Yeah.
jacuzzi afterwards? Oh, you're so beautiful, blah blah blah. Like, stay with me, and I would not tolerate this in my life.
Yeah.
And so I would have contracts broken, you
Wow.
know, yeah. So I felt like it was very hard to find my way into what I really wanted to do and what I really not wanted to do, and um, that's also a mission that I have, is to really um, help young women in the music industry to really associate themselves with people that have the music and their talent
Hmm.
in their heart, and
Hmm.
not how they could use like a young, like prey on a young girl. And I have one of my song that I did, it's called Who Do You, and it talks about this, it talks about like why, like
Hmm.
why does it get weird,
Yeah.
so yeah, so this is like this has been a long journey for me to really find, one, my sound,
Hmm.
two, my team,
Hmm.
and three, to be comfortable in what I do, and not listen to what they want me to do, or it's really something in the music industry, like working with a lot of men, like, you know and some of the men, not all men, but some of them are acting weird, and I would be like, no, I'm going home, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to, you know I'm here to do
Yeah.
music, and
I'm
that's
glad.
all.
That's good that you stood your ground because it's not till I don't know how old I was when I first started hearing about you hear that term the casting couch, right? And then with in the terms of music, I hear a lot of young boys and girls that go through things. And then now we hear famous people, some of the things
Yeah,
that they had to do or they were forced to do. And they
yeah,
did it because they wanted a music career.
yeah.
But that's the other thing with the social media and access to everything. You start to hear stories now. People are telling their stories. You know what I
They're
mean?
horrific, like the
Yeah.
stories like that happen to major artists
Yeah.
in the United States and stuff like that. This happens here too, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's just because, for me at 23, I had already dealt with trauma,
Yeah.
where I was able to be like, oh hell no,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
Hell to the no. But people that have like, that want a music career, and they're young, and they're this and they're that, like some of are being
Yeah.
blackmailed and everything, you know what I mean? Like, it's so hard, like, and that's called, to me, in my own word, it's called abuse, and abuse of power, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And that's not ethical at all.
Yeah. And so going back to everything you experience with addiction, recovery, rebellion, and all that, it's a bad thing that happened, but look what it did for you, right? You
Yeah,
built up that rock
yeah,
around you, that solid rock where
yeah,
you could weed through
yes.
bullshit, I'll say. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
but it's still an ongoing thing, where
Yeah.
like, now I'm working mostly with women, and it's like, not that I'm sexist or anything, but it's just that it's easy because there's like no, um it doesn't change, like it doesn't switch up,
Hmm.
like we have consistency, and it's just like, I feel safe,
Yeah. You know,
to be my vulnerable Satya that can create music,
yeah. Yeah. It's kind of when you think about it, it could be so disappointing if you're a young artist, a young female artist, and you have a great voice, and then someone's working with you, and say you grew up innocent, like, you know what I mean? Innocent family and whatever, you're not exposed to a lot of things. And then to have someone at a certain stature, a famous music producer or anything, director, come at you with these intentions. It makes it's heartbreaking. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
finding out.
It
Yeah.
started, and I read a book. It's called The Betrayal Bond, and it's really a book that talks about exploitative relationships,
Yeah. Hmm.
and it always starts with like, ooh, like grooming the person, like give compliments, and then like working, everything's going well, and like they get you, and then you're like dominated by this producer, or that
Yeah.
they kind of like dimmed all your self-esteem and your light, to put you in a position
Hmm.
where you owe them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's really sad,
Yeah.
that's really, really sad. And I've experienced past relationships like that, and I've experienced that in the studio where I was like, no, I can't do this. And then like my family was like, oh, you're not working with this person anymore. And I would always be truthful, like, yeah, I'm like, yes, like he wanted to sleep with me and I said no, and now I have no news.
Have you met any artists or anyone that you admired when you were young and you're like, oh my gosh, because you're in the industry?
No, I haven't met anybody like to the famous level
Hmm.
of I saw Beyonce once come out of the the Bell Center in Canada. I went to go see her show, and I knew that her car would come out of the garage straight after the show. So I
Yeah.
ran
Yeah.
to go down, and the doors opened up, and
Yeah.
she was in the black SUV, and turned that, like she rolled down the window, and I was like 16 or 17 when I saw her in Montreal. And I just remember, like, I started screaming like a crazy person and bawling at the same time,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was like 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 I couldn't believe like I saw her so close, like I was
Yeah.
like, what? Like I was like, you're amazing, I
Yeah.
love you.
Yeah. Oh, you
Yeah.
you'll never forget that, right? You'll
No,
never.
no, no, I'm never gonna forget that because I saw her so close. It was like, whoa. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only famous person that I saw that close
Yeah.
yet.
Who would you want to?
Yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
It's
Who
coming.
who would you want to do a duet with, dead or alive? Man or woman?
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's really hard because I have so many people that I love so much, but I really, I really, really love Stevie Wonder.
Oh,
Stevie
yes.
Wonder
Mm.
is, oh my goodness, he's so good. Like I just listen to him all the time in my car. I Tony Bennett, I mean,
Oh, wow.
uh if I talk about this era, like I like I like Luke Combs a lot. Like I love his voice. I like Leon Bridges. I love John Legend. Women, I mean, Lady Gaga. Like I'm just a real fan of Lady Gaga. Oh my God, there's so many people. Like I can't.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really hard to say like one duet, because I love so many artists.
I get it. Oh, here's a question I ask every singer. Whitney or Mariah?
Well, for me, Whitney
Mm.
was Mariah's amazing. She's her voice is off the walls, like, but Whitney is was the one that no, actually Mariah too. I was singing on all of her songs, but Whitney Houston, like she's just oof, she was, I don't know, she was really, really, really something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different level. Her voice get. I
Gets
I do.
straight to you.
Yeah, but I do remember when I first heard Mariah. I think we were in junior high school, and she sang "Vision of Love,"
Yeah.
and I just kept playing that over and over. And when she hit those notes, oh my
Vision of
God.
Love, My All, Hero,
Yeah,
like I had a vision of love, and it was all that you wanted of me. Na na
yeah.
na na. Oh God, yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Mm. One question I didn't ask you, which I want to see, even though you didn't have the good high school experience, a lot of rappers and singers that I interview, I always ask about writing poetry, and they all say, yes, I dabbled in poetry. It was my creative outlet. Does that experience with, was that your creative outlet too, or you were like, didn't
I
write
was
at
not a
that age?
writer. I
Okay.
was a singer. Like I would just like close my doors, sing, go in my car, sing. Like
Yeah.
I was always listening to music and singing because that also like singing has a way of like healing, like
Healing. I do.
mantra, like singing mantras and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was really like to let it out,
Mhm. Yeah.
singing Linkin Park songs,
Yeah. When did you start writing now? When did you start writing all these songs? Because I'm going to ask you about a couple of songs.
I started writing songs when I started this album. I have a ton of writing,
Yeah.
through the years, but I started to co-write songs
Hmm.
that made the album Note to Myself. When I started doing this album, like really, really putting my what I think and how I feel into words was
Hmm.
really that first album that I did that.
Yeah. Okay. So now I want to ask about oh, before I do the music too, I noticed that you had a couple tattoos.
Yes,
So do you have one of your favorite tattoos where you can share a story behind it?
I have my favorite tattoo is probably this small tattoo here that is written in Arabic.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see it.
I
You
see it there. Yeah.
you read it on the other side, like they read on
From right to left,
up,
you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
the opposite side of us,
Hmm.
and it's courage and courage et bravoure. So give me the courage. God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the
Okay.
courage to change the things I can,
And the wisdom to know the
and the wisdom.
difference.
Okay, wisdom. The wisdom. So courage and wisdom. I was searching for the word. So
Hmm.
courage and wisdom. So the courage and the wisdom to know what you know. You
Yeah.
know.
Yes. You have something on your page where you say, here's what I meant. So you're explaining, I guess, the lyrics to some of your songs, right? I want to ask you about Maybe We Should. That's one of your songs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you tell me the meaning behind it? And I think that was actually your first video shoot as well. Video.
First video shoot, first song ever that came out and was a number 30 on the media base.
Yes.
Got a lot of attention in 2019. Maybe We Should was a song that for me was kind of like love at first sight, like letting yourself go, like walking into you and just, you know,
Hmm.
asking myself, like, should I do this? Should I do not? Like, love it, you know? It
Yeah.
was just like love us at first sight and just like, maybe we should do this, and not ask so many questions and just maybe we should. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I like how you break down on your post to let people understand, hey, this is what the song meant. And another one is Love Me Better.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did that song mean to you?
Love Me Better for me is really how I feel as a woman. Um, I feel like every there's like always a time where I feel like I'm starting over, like, oh, I got this now. Like oh my God, I've learned. Um, Loving who I am as a woman entirely, like loving my body, going through pregnancy, going after pregnancy, being able to actually the song is really to be able to love myself like I'm being loved by
Mhm.
my partner. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
as women, we're like, oh my God, this and that and this and that. And there's so much in social media, magazines, everything that we should look like this. We should do this. We should do that. And sometimes it's very overwhelming. And Love Me Better for me is a song where I'm just like looking in the mirror, and I'm trying hard to see my body as a treasure. This is the first, those are the first lyrics of the verse, and it's just like sometimes it was hard for me to see that,
Yeah.
breathing and just giving birth. And I remember my partner was like, you are so beautiful, and never forget that. And
Wow.
I just want to give this message to like women, like you we are strong, 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 strong people,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it's okay not to be okay, and to start over, and to not feel good, to feel good. Everything is okay. Just be nice to yourself.
Yeah. Powerful message. And it's good to have that strength behind you to partner, whoever they may be in life. Great. Now, the last one I want to ask about realness. This
Okay.
song is I put a post up yesterday and it feels good to have such a you have such a great voice where
Thank
I
you.
can put any clip and then clip it with anything and I'm like amazing voice. Tell me about this. The last song I want to ask about is Realness because I believe too it charted above some of the well-known singers in the States. I don't know how you heard or when you heard, but yeah.
Yeah, I started charting 2 3 weeks ago. It went on the media base, and now we're at number 66 this week. And there's a lot of streaming, and I'm really, really happy. But Realness is a song about having this real connection with someone where you can be your true vulnerable self. And when I say vulnerability, I don't say weakness, because vulnerability is a strength, to be able to be vulnerable and to be able to. So when I met my partner, I remember we met on an app,
Mhm.
okay? Because I had no life. Like, I had no life. I was
Yeah.
in the studio, I was with my family, with close friends, or like drinking tea and watching movies. Like,
Yeah.
that was my life.
Yeah.
And at some point, my friend told me, like, hey, like, if you want to have a partner, like, my goal was to be in a long-term relationship, feel safe, like build something with someone,
Hmm.
something real. So she's like, if you don't do anything, you're not going to meet anyone. Like, they're not going to come knocking at your door like, hey, I'm going to be your partner for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I joined that app, and that app like was really good for me, because the first person that can talk is the woman, so
Okay.
you're not getting harassed and everything. So I remember like going on this app and just like swiping, 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 and at some point I saw like this person with like this bright smile, like beautiful eyes, like honest eyes. And I said like, oh, hey, if you want to do an activity, uh, my name is Satya. If you want, like, I was 20, I don't remember, 28. I was like, my name is Satya. And if you want to do an activity, please call me. And I just gave my number, like, and,
Yeah.
putting it out there. Like, I'm like, this is me putting my cards on the table. This is what I want. I'm going to manifest it. Next morning, he calls me.
Yeah.
Next morning at 7 a.m., he was coming out of the fire station, because
Yeah. Yeah.
they do shifts. And he's like, hi. And I'm like, hi.
Yeah.
Like, who called, what man calls you in 2019 at 7 a.m. and says hi,
Yeah.
And we just started bonding right away and talking like we have known each other for like 10 years. And when we met, like, we like, it felt so real, and we
Mhm.
had challenges very fast,
Mhm.
where it kind of like bonded us even more, to see like, okay. And I told him right away, like, I am like, my name is Satya. I'm an alcoholic in recovery. I'm a singer. Like, I want this, that in my life, like in the future. It's first date.
Yeah.
Do you want to have children? Like, do you want this? Do you
Yeah.
want that? So I wanted to see if he was gonna run,
Mhm.
because I have no time to waste. I'd rather be alone,
Right.
than just
Okay.
to be with someone for, you know. a period of time.
Hmm.
So he answered yes to all of the questions, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was like, okay, this guy's a keeper, you know.
yeah.
And we've been together ever since. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And we have a
Amazing.
daughter.
Yo, you touched on a lot of things there, so that's amazing because first of all, vulnerability in the respect that you're talking about is that openness, being
Yes.
vulnerable. So I like that. And that's what you did.
Yes.
You put yourself out there and look what happened.
Yeah.
Amazing, Satya.
And being able to be vulnerable with that person where they
Yeah.
can meet you where you at.
Yeah.
And if we communicate, you
Hmm.
know, our insecurities, because we all have insecurities, we all have things. Like, to me, the most important thing is to be able to be my true self
Hmm.
with the closest people in my life, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. So it's a
Okay.
blessing. He's a
Yes.
blessing.
So realness, good. Charting, this is amazing. And the album is called
Note to myself.
Note to Myself. Everyone take note of that. Um, the last question I'm going to ask before I ask you the real talk question is, do you remember when you first performed on stage and how was that feeling?
It was very nerve-wracking because I don't know, like I don't know if at some point I'm gonna be like past this, but every time it's a new experience and
Yeah.
every time it's a new like nerve-wracking level, you know,
Yeah.
because like the more you perform, like the bigger you perform and everything. So yeah, I like to keep that stress, you know, that but every time I perform, I always think I'm gonna forget my lyrics, which I
Oh,
never do. Like,
yeah.
but it's such a fear, like it's such a fear in my head, like that I'm rehearsing, but I never forget my and even if I do, it
Yeah.
it's not the end of the
It's not the
world,
end
you
of
know
the
what I
world.
mean?
Hmm.
Like so yeah, like the part for me is that lyric part. Like I know my songs by heart, but oh no, I'm gonna forget my words, but no.
Yeah. You know what's funny? When I used to do stand up, I told these jokes 1,000 times because you have your set, right?
Yeah.
There was one time I was performing and I forgot the punchline to my joke. It's the first time it happened to me and the last time. But it
Wow.
wasn't a good feeling because I actually screwed up the joke on stage and the audience is just staring at me. But I forgot the punchline. But yeah, that is probably one of the worst fears.
But at the same time, like it's not the end of the day,
Yeah.
you know?
Hmm.
And it's just like at one time I was performing and my mic like just stopped and the engineer was like freaking out and I was like, let's do this one a cappella, you know, and
Oh,
everybody
wow.
jumped in and you know, like it was just, you know, it was it's not the end of the day and you know, in my community and with my friend and with the program that I have in my life, like we always tell each other like no one is gonna like remember or care, like
Yeah.
own it and that's it, you
Hmm.
know. So I just try to be like, okay, everybody in the room is naked and I made a mistake and it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Good lesson. Oh, Satya, this has been amazing. Okay. The last thing we're going to do is the Star Scorpio question before the donation. So
Okay,
you're going to tell me whether you want me to read out the Blue Jays or the Raptors.
I'm gonna go with the Raptors.
So we've talked about a lot, but let's see if anything's different with this question. Name one challenging thing you had to overcome in life.
Sobriety. Sobriety was very challenging and it was very nerve-wracking.
Mhm.
And depression. Depression was very hard to overcome.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, I did everything in my power and I listened to people that knew what they were doing. So they helped me go through my depression. And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
the best way is to do the complete opposite of what your mind is telling you to do. If somebody is listening and is depressed, So I started doing the exact opposite of what my mind wanted me to do, to like sleep and stay in bed and not do anything. So I would get up and I would do what I had to do, and it really helped me tremendously. And
Yeah.
not being afraid to speak up and talk and say, "Hey, I need help," you know.
Yeah. Amazing. Thanks for that. I've heard that too. Think just through something I read. But yeah, doing the opposite because it's so
Yeah.
easy for your brain to just go in that state because
Yeah.
I've been there too, that depression. I've been there. And then just wallow in it and then feel sorry
Yeah.
for yourself and be depressed. But if you make that concerted effort to just, no,
Yeah.
I'm getting up, I'm gonna lift weights, I'm gonna go for a walk, I'm gonna talk to
Yeah.
somebody, it does help. It's like,
Because people also, what people need to understand is that depression is an unbalancement of chemicals in the brain. It's
mhm,
not your fault.
mhm,
You have less serotonin, you have less, um, you have cortisol,
mhm,
you have a lack of sleep. Lack of sleep can bring up negative self-talk just by its like just like that, like lack of sleeping. So it's not your fault,
mhm,
and people shouldn't just continue to be in this state of mind, because it's a chemical imbalancement in the brain.
mhm,
And it's hard sometimes because people are like, why am I feeling this way? And they're so hard on themselves, when they shouldn't be, because it's not their fault.
yeah, you said it
So I
well.
just wanted to put it out there
You
that,
said it well. Yes. Thank you. You said it well. Okay. Now we're gonna do the donations,
oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
and then I'm gonna have you plug all your stuff. One, two. Okay, so there's four causes that I donate to,
Okay.
and I'm gonna name them. Okay, so Real Talk with Star Scorpio, episode 105 with Satya. Um, the causes that I donate to are Kawartha Lakes Animal Wellness Society, the Fundraiser Warriors, as you see the shirt that I have on. Liam's Mission. He's a little boy with cystic fibrosis. He was on my podcast actually, and my friend Kevin, who has a day camp for kids, Juku Sports. So, which balloon would you want me to pop? Purple, yellow, blue, or red?
And that's gonna be the decision for which
Yeah,
cause.
one of them's in here.
And if I help you out and I say I want to donate to all of the causes today.
What? This is a first. Oh, I've had people donate to match my donation for who was picked, but in 104 episodes, I've never had someone say that. That is
Can I
amazing.
can I do this? Like, am
Yes, you
I
can. Yes. I
okay?
will I will send you the links after.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So you know what? I have to do it too then. But let's pop it and see who was going to be the only uh recipient.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go with the red.
Sorry, Poppy. Scared my dog. Real talk with Star Scorpio. This is a first. We are donating to all the charities today, but the winner was going to be episode 105. It was, oh, this hasn't been picked in a while. Let me see if it actually, you can see it. Claus,
Oh,
Kawartha
the
Lakes Animal Wellness Society. She was on my podcast too.
wow.
Oh, animal rescue for cats, mostly cats.
Oh,
But
wow.
amazing. Oh wow, this is amazing, Satya. This is a great experience for episode 105. It's amazing.
I'm gonna be grateful for the rest of my life. You are someone that's so easy to talk to, and you open that channel of truthness, and it's just really, thank you so much for
Oh,
having.
thank you. We're gonna keep in touch.
Of
But
course we will. I
yes,
have donate. I have three more donations
yeah,
to do.
yes. But tell me, Let people know where they can find you. And again, say your latest album and what's going on.
So my latest album, the last song of my album will come out in January. The album is called Note to Myself, and you can find me everywhere at I am Satya Music. So on any platform, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Satya, and yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for being there.
Perfect. This is Real Talk with Star Scorpio, and we out.